Hey guys, welcome to Ravenclaw Reads. I'm Courtney, and today you are joining me for the January book tag. Shout out to LaRonda Reads. I found this on their channel, and I think the original person's is Jan, and it's linked on their video. But it's just a quick January tag. I thought it would be fun to update on some questions for the beginning of the year. And for those that are new to my channel, welcome. Check out the other things on my channel to see if it fits what you like. Feel free to subscribe. If you are coming back, welcome back. And my weekly reading vlog will be on Thursday this week because I didn't do a lot last week, so it's rolling over. So let's get started with the January tag. So there are 10 questions, and I will list them in the description too in case you want to do this tag. So the first one says, what was the last book, what was the last, first and last that you remember from last year? So the first book I read last year was Happenstance by Tessa Bailey. I remember that coming out. I was so excited about that. It's a really short book. I read it in a day. And then the last book I read last year was Jessie and the Super Brat. I believe that is book 27 in the Babysitters Club. If you're new to my channel, I am rereading the Babysitters Club from the beginning. I started that about mid-year last year. It's a book series that I've loved all of my life, and I had been rereading parts of it and cherry picking out books, and then I decided I was going to read from the beginning, which has been really a fun journey because there are so many things that I've forgotten. All right, the next question is, what is your first read this year? The first book that I read this year is Didn't See That Coming by Jessie Tanto. As we're starting January, I feel myself kind of searching for books. I feel like I read a ton of books last year, a ton of books the year before, and I'm really trying to find great books. And so this was a YA book, really cute. It was pretty new in January. Maybe it came out December, or maybe it did come out in January. But a very nice book with some social commentary in it. Highly recommend. Next, it says share 3 of your reading goals this year. So I have probably more than 3, but here's my top. First, on Goodreads, I made a goal of 100 books. Last year, I read 211 books, which was like amazing. I had my original goal set at 70. And for me, I like to have a goal that's very attainable because then I feel like I'm working toward it. If I did like a 250 book goal, even if I could read that many in a year, I probably wouldn't get to it because it feels too overwhelming. So 100 is perfect. 200 was great as like a flex or like a bragging right. Like, yes, I've read 200 books in a year, and there's so many books that I didn't remember. There's a lot of times I was rushing through really great authors that I love, and so I don't want to do that this year. Which goes to my second reading goal, which is slow down and read really meaningful books. So I think as a content creator and as someone who loves books and wants content as well, the need to read so many books quickly and buy so many books and be the first one to read it is really a high pressure. But I'm going to remove that pressure for myself because I have a full-time job. I'm not a content creator for a full-time job. Anybody who's joining my channel has done so of their own free will, and they can appreciate what my channel is about. And it's just about grown folks reading books when they can, as they can. And so I don't need to be keeping up with the latest trends all the time, the amount of books that I'm purchasing, or the pace. So I really want to slow down and read books that I enjoy. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to diversify my reading, and that's both in different genres as well as different authors. So one of the things I did this year, which I've already stopped, was to do like a TBR spinner wheel. And one of the first prompts that came up was like, read a book by an author that you haven't read before. And when I took a browse on my bookshelves, even on my Kindle shelves, I have a lot of repeat authors, right? I have my auto-buy authors, I have certain genres that I read, and then I feel stuck. So I really want to get out of that. I also want to read more authors of color this year. I still love romance, still love YA, still love thrillers. I want to expand in my fantasy, and I want to do more literary fiction this year, or women's fiction. And I just want to read more things. So next it says share 3 of your most anticipated titles. Okay, so this is what I've been waiting for because like I said, January didn't have that many anticipated releases, but as the year goes on, some of my, again, auto-buy authors are coming out. So these are the top 3 that popped on in my head: but as the year goes on, watching other people's channels and meeting and learning about new authors, I plan to have more. But the first is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Abby Jimenez was huge for me last year. She has so many great books, and I think I read almost her whole catalog last year and really enjoy her writing. She's also from Minnesota, and she has a bake shop right around the corner from where I live, so I'm excited maybe to one day run into her or pick up one of her books that she's signed at Barnes & Noble. Next, I would like to read Funny Story by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is an auto-buy author for me. I really love her writing. Last year, I read Happy Place twice because the first time I read it, again, I had rushed through it because it was hot and new. And then I read it towards the end of the year and loved it still. So I'm looking forward to that. And then finally, an author that I don't talk about a lot, but I really love is Rebecca Searle. And she has a new book coming out in May called Expiration Dates. I don't know much about it, but I like the way that she writes, and she usually has some sort of dual timeline going on, and it's introspective, and it is more like literary fiction with a side of romance, and I like that too. Next up, it says, which goals did you reach or not reach last year? And honestly, not to be arrogant, but I smashed all my goals last year. Like, honestly, did not anticipate growing my channel to what it is. It went from like less than 100 to now almost 600. I have met some amazing people in the booktube world. I read so many books last year, and so I really feel thankful and grateful that the goals that I set out for myself are ones that I was able to attain. Let's see, are there new releases this year you've heard of that you have no desire to read? At this point, no. Like, I'm pretty open, and I'm pretty much on the threads within the interwebs of books that I already read. What are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? And I've talked about this already, but really just slowing down and picking purposeful books, not being in a race or competition with anybody, not even with myself. Just each year is a new year. Your pace is different. Life is different. I'm thinking like last year, maybe I read 15 or 16 books in January. That's not going to be it this year. I've read 8 books so far. I'm in the middle of a book. Maybe I'll get 10 or 11 books this month, but that's okay because I'm enjoying what I'm reading and I'm taking time to not just read. Last year, I just kind of hunkered down into reading. That's really all I did. And now I am enjoying more out of house time. I am interacting with the family more. Kids have more activities. I have a different position in my current job. So it's like, there's a lot more going on this year, and that's okay. Okay, are there any adaptations you're excited about? That's question number 8. And always, The Summer I Turned Pretty. So we have book 3 coming out in season 3. I think it comes out either this year or 2025. Either way, I'm still excited about it. I will definitely reread Summer I Turned Pretty book 3 just to make sure that I am ready to dive into the 3rd season. I'm ready for Jeremiah to enter his villain era. I'm here for it. Number 9 is the favorite bookish memory of last year. I kind of talked about this already, but some of my favorite memories were winning a huge eBay haul of Babysitters Club books, and that really kicked off me organizing the books 1 to 131 plus mysteries and super specials, and I'm almost there with the whole set. Jumping on some live shows, shout outs to Beachbum Bookworm, Dark Roots Creation, Storm Reads, and Bookish Knitter for inviting me into their circle. I haven't been on their live shows recently because I do enjoy being a participant, audience member, more than being on the live, just because I'm always moving around, but I really enjoyed those times and meeting and communicating with people, also in the Discord world, and just kind of getting in where I fit in. Reading more last year, like I said, it was the most amount of books I've read in a year that I can even remember, so that was amazing. And then just the YouTube channel growth. I hadn't anticipated this. Like I said, it's not something that I'm doing for money. I'm not doing it for anything, but just to share my journey on reading. And really, I had started and stopped a couple years ago, but I really enjoyed watching my old vlogs of what I had been reading. And it's a great way to document. And so if anybody watches, great. If nobody watches, great. It's still an amazing thing that I like to document. And then the last question in this book tag is, are there any carryovers from last year that you still plan on finishing? And yes. So towards the end of last year, I did start losing a little bit of steam. on my reading, and then there was a couple of series that I wanted to finish that I didn't. So the first is the Natural series. I'm still on book 3. Am I on book 3 or 2? Maybe book 2. And this series is okay, but it's not like I need to finish it, but I would like to. I still need to finish Iron Flame. I'm about 100 so pages into it, but I ended up hearing so much chatter about how it's not very good that it kind of went to the back burner on my reading list. Plus the font in that book is ridiculous. So publishers, like, can we stop with that little tiny font? Like, nobody wants to read this big a font on a big old page book. So yeah. And then Divine Rivals, I still like to read because I know Ruthless Vows came out and everybody talked about that. And then I was still reading the middle grade Greystone. Was it the Greystone Mysteries or Greystone, whatever? They have the 3rd book, The Messengers, that I was in the midst of. And I would like to read that still. And then there's one more. Oh, I still need to finish Good Girl's Guide to Murder, the 3rd book, As Good as Dead, because I just want to finish it. It's only 3 books, but the books were getting pretty repetitive, so I took a good long break in that, and maybe I'll come back to it. So those are all of the questions in this book tag. Comment down below your responses to any of these. I will put the tag questions in the description in case you're interested in answering this yourself on your own channel. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.